Do I hear Brad Bull?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Underwater Fly Zone podcast. We got a special one for you here today. Back in June, I was given the amazing opportunity to open up an event called Waywo Wednesday. I was the fire starter. We'll get more into that later, but basically I got the chance to speak, and if you know me, it's my dream to motivate and inspire, and I like to do that through public speaking, and I was blessed to get that opportunity. It was the first big speaking event I was ever asked to do, so it was such a great time. And I had to return the favor, y'all. I had to bring the boys in. We got Jonathan and we got Raven from Waywo in the building today. How you boys doing?
Yes, sir. Doing great, man. Doing really good. Excited to be here.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We're just on the push.
Yes, I'm glad you guys got to make this happen. This is one of those where I knew it was gonna happen someday, and today's the day, bro. Today's the day.
I feel that.
Bro, you killed that public speaking.
Thank you.
Public speaking, it was very, very hard, in terms of getting through your vulnerability.
Yeah.
In terms of what you've been through. But you did exactly what we needed.
Thank you, bro.
And in terms of public speaking, it's about did you accomplish the job? And you did. So thanks, bro.
Yes. Dude,
sure.
I appreciate the opportunity. I'm telling you, that's literally my dream, is what you guys provided me the chance to do. So Thank you guys so much for that. Jonathan, do you want to tell the story of how we met? Because it's kind of a funny story.
Yes, so I do. First of all, I followed the Underwater Fly Zone podcast for a minute, I think 2 months before I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And then there was a day where I'm sitting on my bed just, after a long day of work, and Underwater Fly Zone podcast goes live, and I open it. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. I open this podcast, and this is in the midst of when society and police were in a little bit of a
Conflict.
Standstill.
Yeah.
It was it's okay, are there even good cops? Are there bad cops? And it was this whole thing, right? And I think that your podcast, or your live was very, very influential at that moment.
That live,
because I opened the live up and he's just talking to this cop on duty.
Yeah. Shout out Officer Abel, bro.
Yeah, Officer Abel. He just has a window down and he just comes up to him. And he's like, "Yo, how's your night? How are you? What are you doing?" And the reason why, you don't know this, but the reason why that resonated with me so much is because I have a friend. His name's Logan Gibbons, and he's a cop, a very young cop.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, after a long time, why you don't get, enough treatment, enough understanding.
Yeah.
And he called me, and we're talking on the phone, and I'm like, "Yo, how are you? How's everything going?" And for the first time, he said, "Hey, John, this is the first time in 2 years I've talked about myself and not about my work. So thank you for checking on me."
Yeah.
And so you were on the IG live asking the cop not about duty, just about how he's doing, how he's feeling. Why are you here? How are you here? And so watching that, a part of me resonated with that. And so I commented on the video, and then you accepted me in. And
yeah.
When it comes down to it, there's so many missed opportunities, right? And you accepted it in, and you brought me in. Next thing you know, we talked for 15 minutes, and we just got along. And then I told the whole crew about you, and next thing you know, you're at the spot speaking.
Dude, it's so weird how things work out. When I started that live video, I never would have thought that it would have ended me up speaking at y'all's event, and then now here we are again. It's so weird how opportunities work itself out, and it's all in the plan, bro. It's all in the plan.
No, I agree, man. We say it all the time. Everyone we ever speak to, think about the opportunities you have in your life. There are just so many, and you just gotta, a lot of times they'll be reach me out about this connect, or yo, do you need anything next week for your events? Let me know. And then so many times we'll just brush it off, and just because that seems commonalities. But we talked to so many people a lot more recently. We're just take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes,
they
bro.
most likely really mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So many, and we started doing that ourselves. And we're so many people want to help with our events. So many people want to help with what we got going on. And we're remember 7 months ago when they said that they would record for us? And we're still thinking about someone to record for us.
Yeah, literally. But they literally, that's exactly me, bro. And I talked about this on the last episode, but we did these 2 pop-up events last weekend. We did the River Market Flea in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Thursday night, I had a homie reach out to me, and he was like, "Hey, bro, if you need anybody to help you, I will help you. I'm off it too. Let me help you." And I was like, honestly, bro, I don't think I'll need help, but pull up. Why not? And thank goodness he pulled up, bro. because I would have drowned if it was not for him. We had so many people at the table, and he's over there dealing, and I'm just like, thank goodness. I couldn't do it just me. So that's so true, bro. And then the next day, we also had another kid when we had to pop up in Maryville. He showed up early, bought a bunch of merch, and he was like, bro, I'll stay for a little longer if you knew you wanted to help. And I was like, why not? And then, dude, literally, thank goodness again. It's so great how many people are willing to help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's 100%. I agree 100%.
And
I take advantage of those.
Yes, and with your guys' brand and with what you guys stand for, I mean, of course you're gonna have people down. I mean, you guys have such a impactful movement that you've started, and I'd love to hear, first of all, the people got to know, what is Waywo? Let's just start there. What is Waywo?
All right. Well, actually, man, let's hit some heartstrings, John. Let's hit some heartstrings.
Let's do it, bro. This is the time.
So funny enough, like, I haven't heard this. He brought this up one time before, and he said it on the way here. He's like, it's crazy how the company Waywo is just this reflection of our friendship, the relationship that we have. And
we're pulling
heartstrings. I said we're gonna pull heartstrings
out the gate, baby.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
The gate. So no, it's crazy, dude, because we never really like put it in that context, but it just makes so much sense, because it really is crazy, because like the type of friends we are is that we hold each other accountable so much. You know, this starts way back. You know, early on, we came here. We're not from Kansas City. I'm from New Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. He's from Florida. Shout out to Florida. But, you know, we came here for school, and we came in. And even though we came here with one goal, which was to be in school, you know, we weren't the closest of friends early on. You know, we were acquaintances. We'd be at the same places, and we'd say what's up and whatever. Yeah. But, you know, we ended up getting a job where we worked together at the same time. And we always had, like, you know, that look in your eye when you see someone on the same wavelength as you. And you're like, you know, you want more. For sure. Life. And so we both had that. So early on, I think we understood that about each other, even though we weren't always like clicking. But one day, you know, I don't know if it was him, I don't know if it was me, but we decided to, you know, I was working on my master's thesis. He was working on his company that he had at the time. And we were just like, you know what, let's hold each other accountable. Let's show up to Messenger Coffee in Kansas City every single Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Every single Tuesday for 9 o'clock. And that's what we did for literally a year and a half straight. We showed up every single Tuesday, 9 o'clock. We were there. We were working. We were holding each other accountable. Halfway through those 2 years, that year and a half, we started putting a structure to the way we did work, mainly because we were just like, you know, we're not focused, or like, you know, he would need help with something and I'd be on his, like, I'd be helping him out the entire time, and I didn't get anything done. And so we're like, okay, let's put some structure to what we got going on. And so we did that, right? And it really helped. And we started realizing, we're like, we should bring more people in the room. And so we did that. We invited people out from Jersey. We invited people out from Florida, Texas, California. And we brought all these people out to really link up with people in Kansas City that were doing big things too. And so we called it a work party. And that was like our first inaugural event.
July 15th.
Last year. Yeah.
Last year, July 15th. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And so then we were like, okay, we got to keep this momentum going. Like, cause so much feedback was like, yeah, that was a vibe. We got so much things done. Like, this is the way to do things. Yeah. And so we just continued it from there. But yeah, to answer your question, really, Waywo, what it really is kind of just this aspect of like, we label as a peer advisory group, but we're all about really getting things done together, right? We're not about this aspect of like, who cares about the industry you're in? Who cares how old you are? Who cares what like expertise levels you have? We just want to all get in a room and leverage each other's skill sets and experiences, help each other out with challenges that we have going on. Dude, and that's what Waywo is. And really what Waywo stands for, this is a bit right here, but Waywo stands for, what are you working on? And it's this idea of like, you know, you could have done so many things in your past. You could have cut $1 million check last week. You could have, you know, rubbled through trash last week. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but what are you doing right now? Like, you could have had a DUI a year ago, but what are you doing right now to make yourself better? That's what we're focused on.
You're getting me gassed up.
That is so good, bro.
Like, yeah, for real. And so
you're getting me gassed up over here.
And that's what it's about. So, like, what are you working on? What are you doing right now? And how can we help each other? Like, the experiences are just so much better when you diversify it. I imagine a conversation between someone that cut $1 million check last week and someone that was rubbling through the trash, bro. Like, exactly. That's like it's gonna be a way more just a lot more perspective there, and that's our goal every single Wednesday. You know, we tailor that scenario for that to happen. We structure our events so that's happening, but then we also tailor our days now to go into educational institutions and also work with cohorts and accelerator programs. But that's basically what Waywo is. That's my voice. That's my view.
That's
our view.
That's exactly what it is. You know, it's a system. It's adding structure to creativity.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how to make money as a creative, then add structure to it.
Uh-huh.
It's very hard. It sounds simple. It's very hard, but it's also as simple as it sounds. It's like it's a structure, you know. Raven and I have been living the office life,
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday every week, and it's the consistency of, you know, like we can learn so much from the corporate world as they can learn from the artist in the world, and we just take that approach that there's enough in the room. You know, I remember there was a moment that him and we were in a building, and as a very new business, we're still new, but as a very new business, we needed a lot of things. And every single thing we needed was in the room.
Wow.
Like there was a business advisor, a tax advisor, a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we needed was in the room. And next thing you know, Raven and we go and we do best. We talk. We go and talk to these people and we build connections and we build relationships. And we thought, like, what if we just could sit down with them right now? Like here we are in this 2-month email thread. Like what if we just stopped and sat down? And like we realized that there's usually enough in the room to get the job done.
Yeah.
And so like that's what we do first. We handle who's there first. We use that approach. And now, you know, it's really cool because I remember like month 3, we threw a concert. Month 4, we talked about a picnic. But now we're very streamlined. You know, we've chosen that the people who come to our events, they will provide the people-centric environment. They will provide the fun. People like you come to our events.
Yeah,
Simple
yeah.
as that, right? And what we provide is work-centric. So right now, as Waywo, we're operating very simply in, we have Waywo Wednesday, which is our workhorse. We put so much into it. It's what we needed when we were younger. And we're still young, but we needed that.
Yeah.
And so what that is just cultivation of experiences, time, and skill set as a currency. At 2:45 to 4:45, what you do is free. And it's accessible. And you better take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Now, that's brought a funnel of amazing opportunities for us. And one thing that we say is that no competition, just confirmation. So that's nonprofit, which brings a lot of for-profit opportunities. But for-profit, we partner with accelerator programs and cohorts, and we help develop the grants, develop the curriculum, and then we're the accountability coaches of the program. Other than that, we realize that a lot of times we're dealing with people who are in the 30 to 45-year-old range, and we're not working on business model canvases. We're working on mindsets.
Okay.
And so now we made a program called Inspo where we go to the school system and we attack the mindset and we say, hey, entrepreneurship is a mindset, not a job title. A nurse and you are very similar in terms of pivoting, selling, all the 9 yards, right? And so we break down that barrier and then we say, hey, you want to be a public speaker, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what else do you want to be? And so once we develop that umbrella, we say attack the skill set you need that will adapt to each profession you need. And that's where we start there. So school, Waywo Wednesday, and then you go to accountability, strategic, consulting, and then you get into cohorts and programs. And that's where we are right now, and we're not going to change for a little while. We're going to push it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Waywo.
That was a lot. I had like 10 different questions come up in my head as you were talking. First of all, I just want to say, if you have the time, make the time actually. Go to these Waywo Wednesdays. I've only been to one, and bro, I need to make it back. I started teaching, and it's just, I don't get off till 4:30, so it's like, oh. But like, bro, I want to get back to those because the time I was there, I'm at a table with, first of all, Raven. Second of all, there were so many different types of people at this table. You had rappers over here. You had entrepreneurs over here. You had another clothing brand owner over here. And then there was somebody else that did something. It was like a what was it? Pokemon Go for Kansas City or something.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, bro, where do these people come from? And we're all right here. And it was such a magical moment. And it was called the War Room. You had the fire starter, which I got blessed to be. And then you had the War Room, and the War Room went so great. We stayed so much longer than I thought we were. Like, we were there past 4:30. I think we were there till like 5:30. We were there for a while talking to people, and man, if you can make it out, it's beneficial. It's really special what y'all are doing. And yeah, I guess you explained. One of my questions was, I was going to ask, how do you find a way to turn this into a business? Because your dream was, let's get a bunch of people in the same room and let's make some magic through conversation, basically. But the way to market that, how have you been able to scale that, you know?
Yeah.
Just through the professional development aspect?
I'm gonna let Raven run, but all I have to say about this is, like, sell the idea, make the product.
Yeah, there's a crazy thing that happens there, right? Like, I mean, there's a few different caveats that really helped us do this. and we're also like, there's times where I'm an idealist and you have the realist, right? We always talk about this aspect of like an idealist and a realist.
Yeah.
See, the idealist part of me is like, we are fresh. Like early on, we're like, man, there's nothing like this and all these different aspects. The realist part of me is like, there are things in this world that are similar to what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
But we have certain elements that's just different, and we understand that, and we identify what those are. But in terms of what you're talking about, like the community aspect, it's just so interesting because there is a gap in terms of the people that show up to our events. Otherwise, they would not have shown up to our events, right? Like we had like over 200 people show up to Waywo Wednesday Season 2. Waywo Wednesday Season 1, we weren't really doing data for that at the point. But now we're really, like, right now we're actually estimated to pass 200, which passed this first season.
Wow.
But with that being said, like there is a gap in terms of what we're able to provide for our founders. I mean, we have people that are in like our funding rounds where they're really like trying to fundraise like millions of dollars to get into everything.
Yeah.
And we have people that have no idea what they want to do. But there's just a certain authenticity that comes with Waywo Wednesday that I don't think people really find elsewhere. Personally speaking, like it's just a matter of combining these, just really diversifying the type of people there and making it happen. And so like in terms of scaling, like something that I thought about actually, and this one hits in terms of the scaling aspect.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about Waywo Wednesday right now. A few weeks ago, we were thinking about this aspect of what impact, right? Like what does impact mean to us? And so we started thinking like, okay, I think there was this like barrier for us because we were like, the finale for Waywo Wednesday Season 2, there was like over 60 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like Waywo Wednesday Season 1, over 60 people.
Yeah.
So the whole entire time during Waywo Wednesday Season 2, we're like, we changed the time, right? So that's one thing, that's a variable. It was at 6:00 and then it was at 2:45. So that changes things, different people altogether. But then we started thinking like, okay, now we're only averaging out like 30 people. Why aren't we still hitting that 60 level, right?
Yep.
But then we started realizing like, that's really not what Waywo Wednesday is about, right? Waywo Wednesday is about like, if you have 8 people there, like you have what you need to make a successful war room.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and so we started changing our levels of like, what is our KPI? What is our impact? And so like that helped us quite a bit because the reason is because I can give half my energy. Let's just say there's 10 people, right? And just for an analogy, if I have 10 people, I can give 1/10 of my energy to each of them. But if I have one person, now they got my full attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we started realizing that, and we started thinking like the impact is way better because what then happens is now those 8 people that were there and we're able to help them out more than if there was 24 people. Now they're like ride or die. They're gonna keep coming. They're gonna be promoting everything that's going on. But I mean that really changed our impact for Waywo Wednesday, and I think right now that's why our mindset is so much more about like helping those people that are there. And then it really creates like Jonathan mentioned this earlier before, like it really creates a funnel because then people are just like, I want a little bit more of your time. Like I want more elaboration on what that one that one gem you gave me.
Yeah.
Right, and that turns into consulting, and then we have people that may come in and they work in a school system. They're like, oh, my kids can use this, or then we have people that are in cohorts and accelerator programs, like this accountability aspect, right? So it opened up other doors for us 100%. But Waywo Wednesday, I mean, it's the nonprofit, it's the community aspect, and in terms of the impact, like I have data to say it, but I also feel comfortable to say that like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What motivates y'all to do this? Like why do you not just get an office job, play it safe? What motivates you to be an entrepreneur with a heart? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I remember. So the answer, and I'm gonna quote Chloe Benton. A little bit of pride, a little bit of stubbornness, a little bit of a little bit of faith, right? All the above. But I remember when we were in month 2 and Raven turned down an $80,000 job. $80,000 paid for travel, paid for housing. It was in his profession. What he got a degree for.
Wow.
Like the whole goal of going to college.
Yeah.
And there was never a second guess. The crazy part, there was never a second guess. Because it's like you can either fill a gap. Kind of doing both, but you can either fill a gap or you can optimize the simple things. Yeah. And so first we optimized a round table. And what's funny is that like recently when I talk to someone, they're like, "How's that make money?" I have no need to convince you how a round table makes money, right? Because King Arthur did it, Napoleon did it. Like we can go down the line.
Yeah.
People who sat at war rooms, right?
Yeah.
So the value's there, the time is there, the efficiency is there. But one thing that really made us grow was like the consistency of a structure. So like we mentioned Inspo and Waywo Wednesday and cohorts, it's the same structure, the same thing every time, just different for the people that are coming through the door. You know, so it's a factor where it's like, okay, we know how the structure's gonna go, but we do not know how the day's gonna go, and that's why like one thing I admire about him, one thing that I learned about myself is like our job is to moderate. Like we're not like we solve problems, but what we do better is we moderate situations. We moderate environments to where, simply put, we can't say we solve problems, which we solve a lot of them, but that's a bad business model. But what we can say is we can change the framework of how we approach the problem. Yeah. And either you'll tap into information you knew, he'll have a past experience, I'll have an external perspective, or she'll say, I had that same experience. Let's when I was a teacher, I did this, and now you're in education. Let's do that. Yep. So it's like it's a transfer of traits, and a big example of ours is, I may be wrong, but I think it was LaGuardia Hospital, but a big hospital in New York. They had a bunch of like problems going on with like, okay, like you go to ER, you get checked in, and then you go to surgery, you get checked in again. So now you have two Fosters in the system, and now you go to X-rays. Now 3 Fosters are here. Yeah, it's all getting diluted, and they had a choice. They said we can go hire the best consultant in hospitals, or we can get external perspective. And that hospital hired an F1 pit crew manager. What? And they are the model for how ER systems run. Wow. Like simple as that. So for us, it's a matter of, because we don't know, but we're willing to search it, is why we know a lot.
Yeah. And then he's just speaking to like the aspect of the Medici effect, right? Like, not right, but basically like this term was coined by this man, Franz Johansson. And the Medici effect, what that is basically the Medici family was this Italian Renaissance family, whatever century it was. Again, drawing a blank on it right now, so I don't want to get that wrong factually. But they housed like some of the greatest intellects that we know today when we think Renaissance, right? You're talking about Da Vinci, Michelangelo, like some of the greatest minds, whether they were in mechanical engineering, they were artists, they were doing portraits, they were doing sculptures, whether they were doing, they were building catapults. Like they funded and acted as the patrons for all these people, like the Da Vinci's, the Michelangelos, like those people specifically were all, imagine this, they were all in here. And then the Medici family paid for them all to be in there, and to let their ideas collide and new ideas to come up. And so, and then from that, so many things came from it, and so like that's the idea, the Medici effect. You bring all these diverse industries together, all these diverse people together, and new ideas will come. And so that's kind of like a lot of our stuff is based off of.
Dude,
that's Waywo.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Waywo. Shout out to Franz Johansson.
That is amazing.
And the Medici family. You should watch. And the funny thing about the Medici family is like, and this is a quick tidbit though too. Shout out to Craig Moore. I'm just gonna keep giving shout outs.
That's how it is. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So like how it all came about. First of all, shout out to Swoovy. But anyway, so like
shout out to Tanisha
for sure. So between season 1, Waywo Wednesday season 1, and season 2, Waywo Wednesday season 1 took place in 1827 McGee Street. Ooh, yeah, 1827 McGee Street, like right around the corner from Keystone. Okay. Right, and so and the thing about Waywo Wednesday season 1 is like towards the end of it, we had a lot of people walking in and out, and they were like, "Oh, have you heard of Keystone? You got some similar mission as Keystone. You really align with them, but our events was the same time as Keystone Sessions, which is after. So like when we were finally done, we were like, you know what, we should go check out what's happening in Keystone. So like let's go to Keystone. So we walked out into Keystone. It was a Wednesday, and it was Eli. Shout out to Eli, 3600 plus. It was Eli, and so he's like, you guys need to talk to Craig, because we walk in, and it's our office today. Where you we walk in and we're like. Okay, he introduces us to Craig Moore, right? He's the CEO of Black Excellence, also director for Venture for America.
I think I met him actually when I was there.
You might have met him for sure. And so, Eli introduces us. He asks us what we do. We gave him the same thing we just told you. We just told him exactly what we did. And so, you know, I remember my girlfriend, Chloe Benton, when she was there, and she was like, no, she was there. And so Craig, then Kevin McGinnis walks in.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, shout out to Kevin. He walks in, and then Craig is like, Kevin's like, oh, what's happening? I remember exactly like this. He's like, what's happening here? And then Craig's like, the way he explains us to him, he's like, oh, so these guys basically utilize the Medici effect to do ... And so I was like, I looked at my girlfriend. She teaches.
Yeah.
She does books, literary wizard. And I look at her and I'm like, you know what the Medici effect is? Literally whispered in my head. She was like, and I'm like, I gotta figure it out. Like we didn't ask no questions then and there. But that same night I went on. My girlfriend bought me the book, The Medici Effect. Go out and read that. There was a show on Netflix, The Medici Family.
Yeah.
I read the book. I watched the episodes, and I mean, I learned everything I learned, and it's really kept on pushing.
That's crazy, dude.
But it was so shout out to them. And then ever since then, it was just, I mean, it really, you know, confirms our aspect of no competition, just confirmation. Because in their mind, they were like, you guys need to come do what you do here. Like this is our mission is to do the same thing that you're doing. And so a lot of people are like, why would I want to flutter what I'm doing with what you're doing, right? We both have the same mission. You're a competition. Yeah. We're like, no, like now our days at Keystone from 2:45 to 4:45, and then from 5 o'clock to 8, Keystone sessions happen. So it's a whole day of collision of ideas, all based on the aspect of the Medici effect.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why this is working out. Your guys' confidence and like you guys have no doubt. Like that's the thing about me. That's kind of why I'm teaching right now. I'm like, can I do this full time? So I kind of feel like I'm almost playing it safe.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask for some advice for me. Like what do y'all think about this? Because me and Macy have been talking a lot lately. We're like, next year she's gonna be teaching, so we'll have a steady income with her. I could probably scale this up to make more than I do teaching, you know? And again, it's not about the money, but it's like how I'd take inspiration from you guys. You guys had that confidence to jump into this. You had the confidence to turn down an $80,000 job to jump into that. I mean, I don't know. Do y'all have any advice for someone like me? Maybe someone out there watching is like me.
I'm going to let him answer. Then I do have something to say with that. Mainly because, I'll let you answer that. Go.
Honestly, what am I going to say? What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know, because all I'm thinking about is what I'm going to say. So I try to keep that in my head.
So, like, my first question to you is, like, do you know how much it costs? Like, how much you get paid, how much you need to suffice, how much everything costs to scale, how much the licenses cost, how much the equipment costs. Like, a dream is when you're asleep.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Who cares about sleeping?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
An idea is when you're awake, and an idea becomes a plan when you create action. So the action, my first step is like, okay, how much is Macy going to make?
Yeah.
How much will that support? Is that 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, right? How much leeway do you have? How much the equipment cost? How much does the Spotify subscription cost? Get all those numbers. And like when you do it, it's going to discourage you.
Yeah.
To see all these big numbers. But the thing is look, if you and her make a healthy family, you guys raise healthy children, you guys live a happy life, the job's completed, Foster.
Yeah,
simple as that. The job's completed. Him and I have this ridiculous passion that we're bigger than ourselves in the sense that we attach ourselves to other people's projects.
Yeah.
Right? But if at any moment, if Raven's like, hey, that was a great run.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go build a family with Chloe. Go do what's most important.
Yeah.
But the point of that is before you can wonder, is it a risk? Is it not? Get all the numbers.
Yeah.
Get
make it practical. Yeah. Know what you're hopping in. Okay. Yeah.
Practical.
That's such good advice,
super practical. You know, what are the taxes? How much does she spend from gas to here to there?
Yeah.
So how much can you spend to eat? Like make it so real that you live in it. And now you know, okay, if I just save $400 a month, I can do what I want. Or if I can work this job and work from 7 to 10:30, I can have what I want. In 3 years, I'll have no no 9 to 7. So my first thing to you, and email it to us, text it to me, is like, what is the cost analysis? How much does it all cost? How much does studio time cost? How much does, well, I mean, you have a great setup here, but how much does it all cost? What are the variables? What are the factors? And then what matters the most to you?
Yeah,
That's tough.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because look at it this way. I mean, you guys got engaged recently. Congrats.
Thank you, bro.
Congrats to you guys.
Yes,
Freaking,
sir.
you guys are a staple, man. You guys are a staple. You guys are a symbol, you know, and it's a lot of pressure. So good luck to you both.
Bro.
But as that time comes, like, make it so real, because the question is this, right? Like Conor McGregor, right? He had his partner, and she fully devoted her commitment to him.
Yeah.
But what do you do when Conor McGregor's dating Conor McGregor?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Right? And that's where you are. That's where I am. That's where you are. We're all in the same spot where, what does Conor McGregor do? He's dating Conor McGregor. And the factor is, we push as far as possible and we make metrics, because as long as there's a goal, we hit it. So my challenge to you and to both of you is, like, put the numbers behind it. How much does it all cost to have the rent, the social security, the life insurance, the car? If the car fails, how much the equipment costs? If the equipment fails, if she loses a job, like, factor it all in, because it's scary.
Yeah.
But you want to know what's more scary, Foster? Not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I agree 100%. Like, a lot of what he just said, like, resonates with what I'm going to say. The first thing I think about when you ask that question is kind of like I think to my girlfriend. Like, she was a teacher full time.
Yep.
And full time. She was a teacher full time. But there's two things that I think of, right? I think about the logical aspect, and I also think about like the mental barriers that come with having that job security. Right?
Yeah.
So like sometimes you won't push yourself a certain way if you do have that job security.
That's what
right?
I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like it's kind of like for her, she was working. I mean, she had a side job aside from the teaching. So she had 3 different jobs that had nothing to do with the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so she cut those other 2 out. And now she's just rocking with the business, and she finds that she's making it happen regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like the mental aspect, right? Because sometimes it's like, you know, on a mental level, you're thinking about your bandwidth in a certain level, but like when you put your back against the wall, right now your back's not against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I mean? From what I'm thinking. Like,
no,
you know
it's
what I mean?
100%.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
When you don't have that steady income, which obviously that would help a lot more. But when you don't, it's like yourself. Like your back's not against the wall, and things change. Like the way you think about it changes. Your priorities change in terms of like what needs to get done and by when and all those different things. But that aspect of priority comes shortly after, right? So when she let go of those 2 jobs, it was a matter of, okay, look, for me, I have such an analytical background, like a math background. Like money, it's interesting how much money makes sense, right? It's like, it's just 2 things, right? Income, outgoing. Like, money comes in and money goes out, right? Like that's math we can control 100%. Like every time I buy a soda or anything like that, like that's $2 less in my bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
So right now, if I make a plan, and again, obviously you want to be like, and be safe about it too. But if essentially, if I make a plan, I will know exactly how much dollars are in my bank account at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something that I did with her that was really like, and so that's why it kind of piggybacks off what you're saying. Like, understand everything that's going in, everything that's going out, and then just understanding like what the numbers are on the back end. Because that would really take you really far, because then you start realizing, okay, you know, if I'm going to drop those 2 jobs or drop your 1 job, like you said, like, you know, there's maybe different things that you can't do in your life that you wanted to do before, but now you can focus on the other things. Mm-hmm. So I think really understanding the numbers are really important. But then also like this aspect of, you know, a vision traction organizer, I think that's huge. Like VTO, we call it, understanding what it is that you truly want. Like, to end all of this, like, you know, I think really like self-awareness is one of the biggest things possible. Mm-hmm. For me, like, I think that's like the trait that I would love the most, because it keeps me authentic. Like, what is it that I really want? What am I really good at? What do I actually enjoy doing?
Yeah.
And can I make money with that?
Yeah, exactly.
on a full-time basis, and then keep it going. Because honestly, like, Chloe loves being a teacher. Like, she's back into volleyball. Mm-hmm. Not because she wants the extra money, I mean, that's a little bit of it, but like she really loves
Exactly.
coaching
Yeah,
volleyball.
Yeah.
You know, like she enjoys that she can do if she can drop everything she's doing to be a full-time coach in volleyball for like I've been watching a lot of volleyball recently, so I know who the top teams are.
Yeah.
In Nebraska, Wisconsin, like she
Yeah.
would love that. Like she'd be okay with life. So understand what it is. I mean, there may be a part of you that just loves teaching, like Ben Gibson, Underground Homies. You know, he's going back to the kid, like he's making a transition. He's going back to the kids. He actually loves being around kids. He loves teaching kids.
Yeah.
And so for him, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's where I'm at. I'm definitely trying to figure out, like, first of all, do I love teaching? I'm starting to love it more every day, so that's a positive. And then can I also balance this with it? Because it's a lot. Like, I taught all day today, and now here we are doing an episode, which this one's been good, but sometimes I really got to prepare for these things, and it's just, like, draining. The other day when I had those 2 pop-ups back-to-back, that was after a whole week of teaching, already drained. It's like, man, I'm going to have to find some, like, God energy or something. Like, God, give me energy for this. Like, but yeah, bro.
The plan can't differ from the original plan if you don't make a plan.
Yeah.
Like, here we are. Like, that's what we talk about, the mindset. So you have to make a plan first. And once you make a plan, you have to realize that the sailboat analogy, like you're going to sail a boat, but you keep a point. And you get to that point, you just go left and right and left and right. But the last thing I want to say for you two, because honestly, I love this podcast, but I love you more. And the last thing I have to say to you and you both is plan A is plan A. Plan B can have no factors involving plan A. I learned that from him, his background in data and analytics and who he is. Like, if plan B is contingent on plan A, it's plan 2A.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, like,
bro.
sit down and make a plan A.
Yeah.
And then make a plan B and a plan C. And if you get to a plan D, then you guys are in a good spot. You have a great support system. So be happy about it.
For sure,
but
for sure.
if you get to A, B, and C, they're uncontingent, and you know, hey, if plan A doesn't work, then Macy, you handle bills for 2 months, and I'll get you in the 3rd month. Hey, if plan B doesn't work, then you know what? We're gonna have 2 hard months, but we're gonna DoorDash for just 3 months.
Yeah.
And then so like it sounds crazy, but it's like it can't go to cahoots better than it can't fail if you don't plan it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And so that's why we talk about the mindset. The mindset is about self-awareness, and mine is pivoting. Like, okay, all this time you spent deciphering what should I do, imagine at the same time on the back end. So you and her spend 20 hours deciding on where to eat. Imagine if you had 18 more hours to decide how to make more money.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Bro, I just want to say before we continue, I appreciate y'all for this whole podcast so far. Like, I've done a lot of episodes where I have guests on and I'm like, this is good, but I feel like you both have came in here today and already have provided so much value, bro. Like, speaking with y'all is a valuable conversation. That's why I love talking with you guys. Bro. Me and you talked so long the other day on the phone. You called me for one question. We talked for like 45 minutes. Me and Jonathan talked forever the other day, bro. It was so cool. And I have a question. It's kind of an individual question for both of you. I want to start with the question I had for you is, first of all, what gave you the confidence? And more than that, why did you turn that deal down for Waywo? Like what was the reason behind you doing that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, for me, it's tough. So, I mean, it was an amazing opportunity. And, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think about it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did that. You did it for a reason. You didn't just do it just because you were like just trying to be bold or make a statement. You did that because you had some heart behind that. I know it. So
I think it's a matter of like I've always been very, very, I don't know how to explain it really. It's just I had my mind set on something and it's hard to like get me in a different direction sometimes.
Yeah.
And not even in a negative way, just more so like I really believed in what, we were doing. And so another aspect of that's really, it's like I kind of like always measure like, what makes a good life and like what brings happiness. Because ultimately happiness is probably like one of the main metrics that I probably want in my life. No matter what it is that I'm doing, I think about that. And so, I had that and I thought about what was happening in my life and I was like, this makes me happy. The situation that I'm in, I'm happy. And yeah, I didn't think that like, and also on like a financial, like even on the logistical and financial aspect, like the cost of living and over there would have been a lot more different. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I really enjoyed the impact that we were creating. We made a really, really good impact, and so I saw a future in it in my mind and with everything that we had going on, and so I just decided to keep running with it. Because the way I see it is this, right? Like, and this is kind of like a similar scenario that you're in right now. It's like, I probably, if I took that job, I don't know. Life is short. I even think people that are 40, 50, 60, they could all start jobs and do whatever the hell, whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure.
They can do anything that they want. But still, right? Like, I was thinking of I was respectively thinking where I was at my life, and I was like, will I ever get this opportunity to do this here again? Right? Like, I've built this, and Kansas City is such an amazing city, and there's so many things that happen.
Yeah.
You know, and there's 2 times in my life where things were gonna happen, right? There was one that was that job, and then another one was I was actually planning to move to California. Which I always call myself like on a Lewis and Clark expedition, right? Like, I went from Jersey to Midwest, and then
Cali.
My next move was Cali.
Yeah.
I'm probably be there soon, but you know, I was gonna move with one of my roommates, Trent Thornton. Shout out to Trent Thornton. But I was gonna move out there, and so like the crazy thing was, you know, there was another opportunity there as well. And then one time I was just driving with Jonathan, and so, you know, him coming from the city, me coming from the city, and like the aspirations we always talked about, it's kind of like he said this, but not in like an egotistical, I think I'm the man, like we got this no matter what way.
Yeah.
That should be a shirt. Right, this is the whole sentence. But he said this. He's like, how are you gonna go to Cali if we haven't taken over this yet? And so when he said haven't taken over, it's not like, you know, we're taking over.
Yeah.
It's not like that, right?
Yeah,
it's more like, how haven't we, like, you know, really left an impact with our capabilities that we have in Kansas City yet? We haven't done it thoroughly yet. And so in my mind, I was just like, you know, that does make a lot of sense, right? Like, it's kind of like, how am I going to go to LA? How am I going to go to New York if, like, you know, I'm only like 1 degree from like anybody I want to talk to in Kansas City? I'm probably 1 person away from talking to them.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I have that along with the team that we have and the support system that we have here, like, I can make it here. Then I can make whatever move I need to make, right? So that's kind of what was going through my head with that.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
and
it was crazy.
That question of, like, why did you make that decision? I feel like sometimes people will throw out the, like, bro, it's the motivation. Like, they speak a lot of motivation. For you, I love that it's not motivation. It's analytical. It's well thought out. And that's what I think is the reason I love this conversation so much, because it's so analytical and it's so, like, you guys planned this thing out. I feel like so many people hop into something pure motivation, but they have no clue what they're hopping into. That's honestly me. Like, that was me when I started this thing. I've gotten a lot. You know, I've learned a lot throughout the 2 years, but I don't know. That's something I've noticed as we've been talking. So that's so cool.
And sometimes that helps though too, man. Like, that you figure it out as you go, 100%. Like, even us, like, the way we figured it out was kind of just like put ourselves in rooms smarter with a lot of people smarter than us. I mean, to that same extent, to a lot of rooms, people quote unquote dumber than us. Like, like, we put ourselves in those rooms with just like anyone and everyone, and we took perspective. Like, I mean, Carlos Fernandez said it best. Shout out to Carlos. Just take all of this. Carlos Fernandez said it best. He really said, you know, he was actually our first fire starter ever.
Really? Really? That's awesome.
Fernandez.
July 15th.
July 15th.
That's great.
He was our first fire starter ever. And he said it in that video. He literally said, you know, I feel I can credit my success because I am willing to learn from, again, the guy that cut $1 million checks to the homeless guy down the block.
Bro, I could relate with that for
and
sure.
And so, like, when you're able to really do that, like, and you actually, like, mean it and resonate with that, like, I truly think, like, I mean, everything's gonna go your way because this world is so much. There's just so much perspective in this world, especially in today's age, with so much like disparities amongst the people,
100%.
like so much splitting up amongst the people. Like you have to really understand perspective, and that's why I love to travel. That's why I decided to come to Kansas City. I was like, there's probably never gonna be a reason for me to ever go to Kansas City, except this moment right now.
Yeah, and here
So let
we
me
go
go there
bro.
let me go there for school because I could have went to North Carolina. I'm like, not North Carolina. I could have went to Connecticut. I was gonna go to Connecticut for school, and I was like, let me go to Kansas City. I've never been to the Midwest. If I'm going to go to the Midwest, I might as well go to Kansas City.
That's so great.
And so it's all about perspective. Like I really love like diving into perspective. And this was me early on. Like my mom was in the travel industry for like 20 plus years, and so we were just always traveling. And so I loved the aspect of perspective.
That's amazing.
And so
dude.
I mean, it stuck with what I did today, and so it kept me in that position.
Yeah, bro. And you limit yourself when you will only listen to the guy cutting $1 million checks.
Exactly.
You limit yourself when that's the only person you'll listen to, because everybody on this earth has a different thing to offer. Everybody on the world knows something that you don't.
100%.
So you got to keep your mind open. Like shout out to anybody with an open mind, because you are literally you're allowing yourself to advance.
It is hard sometimes.
Yes, life is
hard.
like a video game almost, and you're like unlocking new levels. The game is mental though. So as you like talk to new people, they might, like you guys have spilt some stuff for me today where it's like you're unlocking new levels. It really is a mental video game, bro.
I think I told Jonathan, that's the last thing I was saying, but I think I told Jonathan this like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I was like, honestly, you know what? If it wasn't Waywo, you know what I would love to do? Like be in like a devil's advocate class where like, you know, you give me this situation and like we're just all debating on this situation from all different angles.
Yeah, just devil's advocate.
I would be an amazing professor for that class.
That would be great.
My girlfriend
bro.
doesn't like it too much, but it'd be a great class.
That's great, bro. That's great. That's great.
I'd be a great professor for that.
I think one thing that stands out for me is it sounds tough, right? It sounds tough and sounds grandiose, but it's the indomitable human spirit. Like shout out Luke Hudson, like a friend of mine. He would just say, "The indomitable human spirit," and like at first it was a joke. Yeah. There's times where I'm really in like the valley of the shadow of death, and I'm like, I have support, and even if I don't, I have the indomitable human spirit. And it sounds so like corny, but like next time you'll say it in your head, and you'll realize like, yo, I do have this, and for us, I think the last thing was like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Like if not now, when? Like, kids, mortgage, X, Y, and Z. Like,
fill in the blank.
We don't have those problems right now. So if not now, when?
Don't have to be problems though.
Yeah, they're not problems. We don't have those expenses,
responsibilities. Yes.
We don't have those responsibilities, and we're actually getting very, very close to them. But we don't have those responsibilities, and it's like, I was talking to you about this on the phone, but it's never going to be your passion that stops you. Like the second that you choose your passion, then I kind of imagine it like the simulator, where it's like it'll tell you like the ball's gonna go left or right. It's like you have a ball in your hand, like in like MLB, like the new one.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's gonna go this way, and it's like a simulator. So it's like the second that you choose, like I'm gonna follow my passion, then nothing's gonna stop you. It's just gonna be everything else.
Yeah.
Like every single thing else is gonna stops you, and so as long as you hold on to that indomitable spirit, and as long as you hold on to people that literally care about you, and it's funny because people talk to me and they're like, you have a support system. You have people that care about you. I call my friends every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks I call them. I don't miss. I don't. So like it's an investment. So like I'm blessed with it, but it's effort. And so people are always like, well, you have support. Why don't you? You're here with 10 people, and this is the tough love part of what we do. But it's like, why didn't you ask me? Like my favorite story of this growing up is my grandfather told me a story. He was preaching one day, and he said there was a kid, and the whole time he's like, I need to move this rock so I can do the game I want to play. And the dad taught him about leverage, and so he gets a crowbar. He still can't do it. And next thing you know, he gives up, and he's like, why didn't you ask me? And that's like really life. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't you ask for help? Like, you're over here struggling, suffering. Like, what is wisdom? Wisdom is observation into mental reps.
Yeah.
It's not action.
for
As
real.
simple as that. It's like, okay, I observed it, and I'm gonna live this through in my head. So when it comes time for me, I don't have to act on it. I can respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can act, not react. You know,
Yeah.
so
Act, not react.
the indomitable human spirit is it. And lastly, like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? And this is going back to, you know, what your first question, but like, what is the point? Like, is the point to support next generation? Is the point to leave an impact? Is the point to be happy? On the way here, Foster, I told Raven, I said, you could change the world. Oh no, I said you could be super famous, or you could live at this lake and have a good family. And he said, I picked a good family.
Yeah.
So it's a matter
Facts.
of really just like deciding like what is success for you, what is the next step for you, and it's
Yeah.
all about the next step. Who cares about anything else? It's like, I have the plan. The plan is stubborn. The next step is flexible.
Yeah.
So the plan is stubborn. I'm gonna get to where I want to go. No ifs, ands, or but the next step is flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna save that actually. I like that. I made it up right now.
Recorded.
That's beautiful.
I made it up
bro.
right now actually.
That's an IG
The
reel
plan
right there.
is stubborn, but the next step is flexible.
Dude, facts.
That's valid.
We're 50 minutes in, and I could dive deeper into that, but I really want to get into something that I wanted to talk about, which was, Jonathan, you had a crazy story happen between the last time I saw you and now, and I don't know if you want to share it, but I think it kind of motivated me when I heard it.
Yeah, man. It's shout out to my boy. Much love, my brother. Thank you for all that time, man. Yeah, so we got 2 weeks left of Waywo season 2. We're pushing so hard.
Yep.
And again, my boy Raven carried the boats. So like, this story sounds good, but without someone carrying the boats, then the boats sink.
Yep.
Right. So with that disclaimer, here we are. But next thing you know, I have an apartment. I have a car.
Yeah.
I'm out chasing my dreams all day, 8 to 10, 7 to 9, whatever it may be. And I'm never really home. If not, I go to someone's house for dinner, a friend's house, just pushing.
Yeah.
And one day I get home and I realize that things are wrong. Things are very, very wrong. And next thing you know, there's someone in my house. All my belongings are gone. And I have a very, very fight or flight situation. And it was a me situation. Like, no time for the phone. And to make the story a little bit faster, my house gets ran through. And not just my house, my roommate's stuff gets ran through. And money's gone. Like thousands of dollars are gone.
Yeah.
Social Security, they had the time to go through my clothes.
Wow.
So like my favorite piece of clothes are gone. And what's crazy about the whole situation is that when I got home, it was all just gone. Things flipped, and I went, I just took it on the chin, right? Grabbed my bag, Social Security card, passport, money I have left, notes from my girlfriend, like all the stuff that matters to me. I put it in my bag, put it on my back. I go to my friend's house, and I tell him about the whole day. I wake up in the morning. I go to my car. My car's broken into. I wake up. I have $2,000 charges on all my credit cards, full-on identity theft. Everything's gone. Like, I am no longer. Someone is more me than I am, in terms of the eyes of the law, in terms of the eyes of like identity.
Yeah.
And I had to go home for a little bit. I went home, and that's why I share the story of like, it's never gonna be your passion. It's everything else.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about how I recovered. We can. But what the part that really is worth talking about is I had 2 weeks to finish.
Yeah.
I spent, 16 weeks? I spent 16 weeks. The job was 18 weeks long.
Yeah.
And so here we are. I slept on the couch. I slept at a friend's house. I ate Wendy's 4 for $4. I got it done. I rode a bus halfway to Nashville, came back to Kansas City, got a plane with no passport, got the job done. But what it really is like, finish the last job.
Yeah.
And then relax, So long story short, like, things will get taken from you, but the real lesson in this is I told Raven is recently I changed cars and I forgot. You can ask Raven. The part that made me cry about the whole situation was I lost my grandfather's watch.
Yeah.
I had the watch on my wrist and I took it off and I thought the watch was gone. Next thing you know, it's in his bathroom. I took a shower in the other bathroom, I guess, right? It's in his bathroom. I find the watch. I realize the true value of it. And then 6 months later, I leave the watch in the car. The car gets taken away and I don't need the watch anymore. So like for me, it just truly taught me like appreciate the true value of inanimate objects of sentimental value, and like why wait until it's taken from you. So that's why I really feel like called to the community, called to what Waywo is, because I came back and people didn't ask me like, hey, time to make money, time to do this. It was like Raven was like, I'm happy you're home. I love you. I miss you. I went to Keystone, Kevin, Craig. They were like, how are you? Are you happy? Are you okay? Yeah. And that's when I realized I am willing to push for this community past my own problems, past my own insecurities, because it's my passion.
Yeah. What a story, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to say after all that, bro.
Well, I do. I mean, he's been through the ringer. And if you know anything about John, if you ever meet his dad, he'll probably actually just tell you everything you need to know. Just to be honest with you. If you see a video of his dad, like he'll tell you everything. But yeah, no, he was. It wasn't all about the carrying the boats. Like I know he would have done the same thing for me if I was in a situation. And so, it was really just a matter of just pushing and waiting for him to get here. And he did it, and now we're here, and just ready to keep pushing forward and making things happen. But I mean, the resilience this guy has. Some things truly cannot be taught,
Exactly.
It's like, and I think he has, and that's, and when we had that job together, like, that's what, full circle back earlier when I was explaining that moment, like we saw something in each other's eyes.
Yeah.
It's for moments like that. Because anybody could have stood in Florida. Anybody could have stood getting paid. Anyone could have said like, "Oh, I don't have to pay money here. I can just get a job here. I can just do whatever I gotta do here." But what I saw in his eyes back then, in terms of like, and the way he moved, also kept me going because I knew he would come back.
Wow, bro.
Wow.
What kept you going through that, bro? Like, how were you able to keep going through that?
Comfort. I hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like. Who am I to be comfortable? Like, bro, why am I 25 and have a six pack? Dude, that bothers me.
Yes, sir.
Like it bothers me. Like, so here I am in Florida. I mean, oh my gosh, guys, before we move forward, I had such an amazing time in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, like the way that it all works. I was able to be there for my family. I was able to help my nephew learn how to speak. I was able to hold my nephew who was a premature baby who can now hold his neck up. Like life truly showed the full circle, and that's why here I am to tell you like what's the real point of it all.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If teaching handles it, like I'm not saying it'll chase your dreams. I'm saying if teaching handles it, and you can have the podcast that brings in like $40K a year, like what is the real goal?
Facts,
So then that's what really opened my eyes to it. What I knew though was. My real goal was bigger than myself. And I knew a day in Alva University where it was a Friday, it was finals week. Everybody was trying to handle different projects, and I would go to the VisCom, the Visual Communication Center, and I would go there, and I'd lay down on a Friday, and I realized I had nothing done. I'm about to fail a class. But it's because when someone put effort towards something, I automatically attach to it. I attach to the passion.
Yeah.
And so like find the gap and fill the gap, and then make connections, build a bridge, charge a toll. That's a business.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, hey, we're almost an hour into it. We got 59 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I always say, time flies when we're doing these.
Well,
bro.
we have one question for you both. I'll ask first, and I'll see what you think.
Let's get it.
My question for you is, I have like 3 questions actually. We have a short time.
Ask them, bro. You don't. We are in no rush.
My first question for you is like, what motivates you?
What motivates me?
What motivates you? Like you have an amazing partner.
Yes.
You have a, from what I've seen, a supportive family.
Yes. For
like
sure.
why more? Why more?
Why more? I'll tell you why. So I mean, you guys heard my story at the event. Whenever my best friend took his own life, it showed me the need for somebody doing this, for somebody talking about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's my motivation, I guess you can say. But I'm actually at a point right now where I'm past the motivation. I'm just like, I need to do it. Like, I know what needs to be done. I know there needs to be shirts out there with "Your life is worth living" on the back. I know people need to hear that message. I know people need to watch a podcast about us shining light on that darkness. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I feel like God is calling me to do this. He's given me so many signs that this is what I need to be doing. So I'm like, bro, what else is there to do other than what I feel is God's calling for my life, you know? And I'm actually past the motivation. I'm just like, I need to just do this now. Like
the engine, the motivation is just an oil now.
It's
it's
bro.
just part of the machine.
Exactly.
It's
I'm
just in there.
Yeah, I'm like this. I feel tired. Like I get off work, I feel tired. I want to be watching the Monday Night Football game right now. But no, I know what needs to be done. I know we need to do this podcast. And guess what? If I would have said, let's push it back, let's watch Monday Night Football, we wouldn't have this amazing conversation we had. Like, this is what we've done here today is so special, and people are gonna be watching this, and already know y'all are gonna get hit up. I'm gonna get hit up saying, bro, thank you for that episode. Okay. And that's why I do this, because people need to hear stuff like this. There's people out there that need to be connected in a community. So I wanted y'all to come on, and now they know where to go. They know where to go to get the help they need. They know where to get they know where to get what they need from y'all. Like, that's the big motivation behind it. But like I said, bro, I'm actually at a weird phase in my life right now where it used to be so motivation driven. Now that's like way back here, and I'm just like disciplined to the plan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's perfect. Because honestly, as you're saying that, it's crazy. Because even before you said the plan, in my mind, my very next words were going to be something along these lines. But before I even say those words, going back to what you just said in terms of motivation and knowing why you're here, something I always like to ask ourselves that's really important to us, important to, like, even when I talk to new business owners, is like, what is the level of like what's your reach? Like, what's your desired reach? Because I think that's truly that's something to think about when you have that plan aspect. Because sometimes like people don't really know what their reach is. Like right now, I mean, we've never personally. I know we want to be across the United States. We've never talked to global. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we never said the word global. We never said Europe. We never said Australia. But we did say multiple states throughout the United States. And so in my mind, I know that's my reach. I never thought Australia. I never thought Europe. I never thought South America. Yep. Right. But like in my mind, that's like the working reach that I'm working towards, and I have like a plan towards that. But to understand your reach is really important, because like sometimes you can just say your reach is Kansas City Metro, and that's better than not even knowing any reach at all. Yeah. Because then it makes your plan more detailed.
I see it like this. You know the game darts? You're aiming at the bullseye, but as long as you shoot at the bullseye and hit somewhere on the board, you're going to be like, hey, at least I hit something, you know? My bullseye is Kansas City.
Exactly.
But you know what's crazy is if you look at our followers on Instagram, number 1's Maryville, where I went to college. Number 2 is Lee Summit, where we are right now.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Kansas City. Number 3 is Kansas City. Number 4 is Lagos, Nigeria.
That's amazing, bro.
Like Maryville's our top, and that's only 2% of our followers is from Maryville. Kansas City's 1%. Lee Summit's 1%. Lagos, Nigeria is also 1%. Like, we basically have the same amount of followers in Lagos, Nigeria as we do right here in KC, crazy. Right here in Lee Summit. Never would have I was aiming for KC.
But it spills off, and it's crazy because it spills off. Like when you niche up like that, like it's crazy. Like when you niche up like that, like you become so perfect at this structure. It's so easy just to like come off the sides.
Yeah,
right? And so these are the words I was gonna say, man. Plan the trade and trade the plan.
Plan the trade and trade the plan.
Plan the trade and trade the plan. Don't go away from it.
And don't get stuck
on the plan. If you plan the trade and trade the plan, you're straight. Like, trade the plan no matter what. Like, I tell you right now, like, if you told me, if you had, like, $100 in your account right now, and all you had to do is pay $100, well, if you had $100 in your account right now, and you bring in $500 and you spend $100, like
Mm-hmm.
you know that math.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, oh, one day you're like, someone invites you out, you're like, oh, I want to go get a dinner, I want to go out to eat, one of these things, right?
Yeah.
That's away from the plan. That's not trading the plan.
Yeah.
So if you plan the trade the plan, and everything will be all right.
Bro, that's amazing. Do you know this is kind of my mindset 6 months ago. It was when I was doing that merch drop behind you. That was our merch drop that didn't do very well, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's our worst one we've done. And that was right after our best one. And what I was thinking of is I'm like, I know there's a blueprint on how to succeed at my dreams. Like, God knows the blueprint. I don't know the blueprint, though. And how do you get the blueprint? You get the blueprint by, first of all, having mentors. But second of all, you got to just go through it yourself. And like, I remember when that drop did horrible, I was really discouraged. But then I was like, you know what? This is my way of discovering that blueprint. And luckily, I had my boy Alex. You guys know Alex from Clever Street Warehouse now.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, him
shout
and
out Street
Tyler
Warehouse.
especially.
Shout out Tyler.
Yes,
Tyler's
exactly.
the man.
But
Tyler's a master connector for us, man.
bro,
Blessings.
Tyler is amazing. We're getting them on too here and very soon, like maybe next week or the next week. Anyways, so I realized right there, I was like, bro, I'm just doing the same thing. And that's when I started developing that blueprint. And once I got that blueprint and once Alex showed me, bro, if you sell low quality merch, you're going to be a low quality brand. I mean, that's common sense. So he's like, sell high quality merch. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive, but you'll be viewed as a high quality brand. They have completely changed everything for us, bro. Like, we have boosted 4,000 followers in a month. Like, we have been getting way more views, which is cool. We're bringing more people in. More people are hearing the message. Sales have been going up. And it's just like, bro, as you go through it, don't be discouraged by those failures because those failures are revealing the blueprint, bro.
It's crazy because this is crazy to me.
Yeah, no,
the worst.
literally.
The worst.
Yeah, that was the worst.
You said that
but-
was the worst, and it's right there.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it.
But bro,
Dope.
I'm thankful for that worst because that
Oh, yeah.
worst allowed me to reveal more of the blueprint. The blueprint is literally being revealed to me every single day, and
Bro,
I just think that's so important.
You know-
But
It's done.
1 second, boys, I gotta switch the battery. The camera just died. 1 second.
Oh, you're
I gotta
good.
do this. All right, y'all. Continue. You're about to say something.
Yeah, bro. You chose not to do it yourself, so don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's your choice, bro. It's your choice. You could chose to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
So lean on her.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
You know, lean on him. Force it. And the last thing I have to say is, this is a pitch. This is a pitch. And anybody watching, this is a legitimate pitch on how to land a client who's older than you. Ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to learn professional development, right?
Yes.
You can go learn from someone who's done it for 20 years straight, 30 years straight, 40 years straight. And you know what? I would not be mad at you for going with that option, right?
Yeah.
But I learned it yesterday. I implemented it today, and I want to teach you tomorrow.
Mm.
So how many times do you tell a story, and when you tell a story, you lose a piece of the information? You lose a piece of the factual evidence. You lose a piece of the true value of the story, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as experience. Experience is valuable, but also I'm learning straight from the textbook. I'm learning from experience, and I want to teach you what I've implemented yesterday into today. So my youth is a benefit. My youth is my wisdom. My youth is my tool, right?
Yeah.
And with all that being said, like, lean on us. Like, we built a business for people just like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why haven't
bro.
you texted us more than 4 times?
No, that's valid.
Why don't
for
you
sure.
have a VTO, a BMC?
Yeah.
Why don't you have all these things that Raven builds for people for free all the time?
Yeah.
Who have way less relationship than he does than you do, you know?
Uh-huh.
So like, lean on us,
Bruh.
challenge us.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Macy, you just want to go with that? Because what is that? What's that saying?
No memory.
Bruh. Yeah, let's,
No, yeah.
man, I don't want to wrap this up. I don't want to wrap this
No,
up, but I
you're
guess we're
good.
going to have to.
Nah, it's
Yep.
all
Is
good.
it going? All right. I guess this is the end, but bro, yeah, I do. I'm going to hit y'all up more for sure.
Heck yeah.
And I need to, bro. It's just, I'm telling you, that's the thing about this teaching thing. It's like, that's really where all my time and energy goes. And this has become almost like a hobby that I love doing more than anything else. And I feel like I could do full time.
I feel
That's
that.
the thing though, bro. Oh man, I have a lot to think about. You
It
guys gave me a
depends.
lot to think about
It-
though, so thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just think about what it is that you love and what it is that you want. You know,
Mhm.
self-awareness. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Self-aware. You gotta be self-aware. That's my last tidbit. If you are truly self-aware, then that would be an easy decision for you.
Yeah.
And you've
You know
done
what I
it.
mean?
And you've
Yeah,
done
it kind of, yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
do I, like, what is it that I want to get done? I mean, it's tough because, I mean, it's hard because you only have so many hours in a day, right? But, you know, you just got to.
Nah, bro, that's so, you
Well,
guys.
I'm gonna say this. Waywo is inspired by the Underwater Fly Zone podcast. We make impact because the Underwater Fly Zone podcast exists. It's not the only reason. It's a part of the reason.
Yeah.
But you can stop tomorrow. Be proud of yourself. But also you have energy. You have time. Push.
Yeah.
PUSH. Push.
And maybe this is enough. Like you said before.
Maybe
like,
it's enough, bro.
maybe-
You've made change, and we're so proud of you, and I am grateful for you. And I don't look at you as a younger than me. I look at you as someone I learned from, as I grew from.
Dude, thank you
so
for that.
you've done enough. So as your partner, you guys, you've done enough. But is there more to get done?
I believe there is.
Then let's talk more after this.
All right, bro.
Dope.
Hey, boys, thank you so much for everything.
course, man.
That's one that will go in the Hall of Fame of the Underwater
Hey.
Fly Zone right there.
Hall of
No,
Fame,
loved it,
Underwater
bro.
that's a
Fly
blessing.
Zone.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, man. I
That
can't
was
wait to
great.
be on. Thanks for having us on, man. I mean, something I was gonna mention during his story early on in the beginning was really he was every time I went to his house, the podcast was playing on the TV. Like,
Really?
Like he was legit. Like he bringing it
Man.
up before the first conversation on call. Like he was always on it.
I'm
I
a
would
legit
go on
fan.
my. We had to share YouTube. We had to share a YouTube account. So then it was me too because all my suggested was you. I think we followed 3 people. It was you, probably Gary Vee, and someone else. I don't know.
Bro, what?
I swear,
bro.
like literally, like in our original thing. Yeah. So
And
I
you
was
know
watching.
what? Last
Sorry.
thing is, bro, you're him.
Yeah.
Like realize it
And you're
already.
her.
Like realize it
You're
already,
her.
bro. You're him. You're him.
You're her.
Bro, hey, y'all are for real the best. Let's run this back too.
Yeah.
When y'all are down, not too quick, but like in the future. Let's
do
run
it.
this back, and let's do it at your place next time.
You let us know.
We'd love to do it. Always. You call us, and we'll do it tomorrow.
Hey man, shout out to these guys. Shout out to Waywo, Jonathan, Raven. You guys are the best.
If you ain't listening to the Underwater Fly Zone podcast, bro,
What is you doing?
Like, honestly.
Yes, sir. Hey, peace out. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment your favorite moment of the episode, and you better go follow Waywo on Instagram. Better go
Sir.
do that. Hey, shout out to everybody that listened all the way into hour 12. That's lit. That's lit.
It is.
All right. Hey, love you guys. Peace out.